Hello, welcome to episode number 8 of my Deconstructing Distortions series. My name is Allie with a.Marie.Speaks. I've created this series here as sort of a secondary branching off of my original series, Comprehending Consciousness, which I did maybe two and a half years ago, but on my old YouTube channel, which, I'm locked out of. Thanks for finding me on my backup new channel here. Hey, welcome. If you are interested on more from me about energetic systems and shadow work, spiritual divination techniques, and things, I have a couple of playlists on my old channel, which there's some links in the description if you're interested in more things from me. But here on my channel now, my new main channel, I have Deconstructing Distortions going and a couple other things. I won't plug all my ventures here in the now. So thanks for joining. Let's get to what we're talking about here. Episode number 8 is going to be on the term perfect imperfection. I am going to talk a bit about my own preconceived assumptions, sort of, about the word, and then the deconstructing part of the distortion, of course. I'm going to break it down and talk just a bit about weeding through the brush and how I've sort of made my way into finding a really beautiful, also commonly known, and it's a really viable, really true state of being, and originality and original purpose, which is what I think the term perfect perfection is lending towards. So without further ado, sometimes I give kind of a preamble about the series and talk other things, but let's just get into it, right? I have seen, and many of us, of course, over our lives, have had different versions of what perfect means pushed on us. And I've been through different kinds of breakthroughs and breakdowns around this. And where the series here is gauged towards those of us who are already on the walk, on the journey. We have some knowledge points and reference through different kinds of spiritual practices, understanding different esoteric and metaphysical information. Really, this is a secondary sort of step up from my last series because of that fact. I'm really trying to speak at and towards the level of practice that I am a part of, and not trying to create beginner's content for people who are brand new. I did that in the last series, and I have 40, maybe 50 videos. I forget how many terms I did over there. And it is sort of geared towards that. So if you happen to be and finding me now, and you are kind of new to things, or new to unconditional love, or new to personal practice, meditation, contemplation, reflection, doing good work for yourself, this might be a little bit of a too much for you, or you might not get it, and that's fine. It's not that it needs to push anybody towards these things. Everyone's free to have their own perspective on a reality space. I'm not trying to impede on or infringe on anyone's of how you see something, and you're free to see it like that, in that way, for as long as you'd like to. That's the beauty of the exploration that we're a part of here. We're each one finite piece within the infinite expression of God's source. So be yours and own yours, and be where you're comfortable at, because that's where your designated point of discovery is, right? But what I'm kind of going to speak about is where I'm at right now, and where mine has been, and what has sort of led me to these more integrated and really, really beautiful and enjoyable, I have to say, envisionment of perfection. So first, to kind of give a beforehand view. Like most people, feel like perfect was a sort of a cookie cutter external version of a thing or an event or a dream or project you'd have or whatever you're working on. If you're painting a picture, writing a poem or a book or making a song or something, there would be this kind of absolute version that is like the bestowed best thing, the perfect version. And it seemed very external. And a lot of times, those visions, we get tricked by the versions out there that are sort of on platforms that tell us they're the best versions. The movie stars, the supermodels, the elite gymnasts, and elite sports people and stuff like that. That's what I'm like thinking of. Personal reference, of course, when I'm searching for words. But there's always these sort of versions, the bests out there, that we tie into our own perfect. And it's really, a lot of times it's pushed on us too, or a lot of times it's just given as guidance, and then it's misinterpreted, and we get these uncomfortable exchanges that feel like we have to push their version on us. Throughout a lot of my work and meditation, spiritual seeking inside of myself, I've just come to the grips with the fact that that's all me putting that on myself, in fact, and making up those perceptions of what I even see, because what I've seen on that person is a superficial version, a quick image and a snapshot of that person's whole being. I didn't see how they got up to all of that, right? All of the little work that goes into that version. And it can be quite easy for us to just retain the snapshot image and think it's one and done, or there and held forever or something. And that's a great inversion and distortion that, is external and internal, and it's nature and nurture. We don't have to go around trying to see, is it this or is it that, and where did it exactly come from? And we can just say, that is an incorrect way of looking at it. It's not true. And then what is true, actually, and find comfortability and put our focus on what is true, which for me has come through a couple of different sources, this word perfect. And I love to kind of wait for a few different third party, I call them, references, that are external out there that bring up a new point of observation of the term or of the thought or of the concept that I have, and that sort of offer it in a different dynamic, right? So the word perfect, of course, I bring it to Walter Russell a lot of times with this prayer from the Divine Iliad that I really love. He brings in that word perfect a lot to me. And this sort of Deconstructing Distortions entire series I did at the start, I had to stretch my leg, sort of an entire ode to him with the whole prayer, and I sort of did a bit of deconstructing on that, the entire thing. I think it was like 8 episodes it took me to do. But I talked a little bit about perfection in there, so if you've seen those and you're not new to my channel and everything, then you've kind of heard a little bit about what I've said already, and And of course, we all know this, because on the journey, being adept students as we are here in the metaphysical world, and, who I'm just sort of trying to make the video aimed for, right? We understand these truths, these fundamental things already. And we've discovered for ourselves, our own comfortable perfections, and understanding that it's tiny things that come together to create a graceful spiral. It's not really strict lines and strict points and sharp changes that create graceful movements. It's a soft gradient. And it's interesting, the idea of perfection in a physical sense as well. If I'll just switch gears, I guess, before going on. I'll go on a tangent first. The beauty and the perfect images, and what is considered to be beautiful, it's quite interesting to me, the unique types of ways that all things display beauty and have beautiful aspects of them. And in the image, that quick snapshot that we see a beautiful person, we create a perfect image. and it holds perfection in it. And it is perfect. We each are perfect in the ways that we are. But we sort of fill in the gray areas and create this still framed portrait, superficially, that isn't actually completely honest, because a lot of times it's smoothed over those tiny imperfections that literally are there. And we do this out of love, and I think we do this because it's seeing the original template underneath. It's seeing the love and infusing our sight with our heart sight, with our spirit sight, and letting that light and the truth of the organic template is what I like to call perfection. And before I really got comfortable with saying and using the word perfection, I was seeing and talking about the organic template and the correct instructions underneath, the original design, which is created by infinite intelligence. It's something that is beyond the comprehension of what we could even consider to be genius. It's beyond genius. It's active, living, something words can't describe. But anyways, now I'm really off on a tangent. Oh my gosh, this episode's coming out a little wobbly. But it is perfect in its own right? Because the way we are is, and the way that things come out in the moment can only come out in the right way, When we choose to live in our light, and when we choose to be operating from transparency and honesty and seeking to listen and be guided, knowing that the infinite intelligent source, God creation, that has orchestration throughout is the guidance. But it's in the living now. It's in this ever-present moment that we engage with it, that you hear it, that you're a part of it, and that you can see it and witness it and be in it if you choose to. And then all things become perfect. And then you see, like I said about the images, you see the perfection shining through underneath, and the retainment, the memory, the vision that we see in front of us is more beautiful. It does contain more of that love and beauty in it. Just like, unfortunately, you can choose to see the ugliness everywhere, and you can choose instead to see imperfections. And that will create more of that. And who wants that? Why can't we just all agree that that's a pile of shit? Excuse my language, but really, it is. It's trash. It's garbage. Doesn't feel good. Doesn't look good. Why would we want to make more of that? Why don't we just accept for what it is when it is there, and clean it up, take it out, put it at compost, burn it? What's the case? There's a case to be had, because there's cyclic value to everything here. All parts are a whole here. Just like it's a whole house. You can't just leave trash inside your house and just think it's going to magically go away, You have to deal with it, take it out, do where it goes at, But anyways, shadow work tangents. I'm going to reel myself in here. But the perfect balance can be created through doing all that work. And then we find the act of perfection in all of that by doing that, you know. And of course, it contains a lot of imperfect moments, but that infusion of love and the harmonious seeking of the solutions through creates what I said about the graceful gradient, the, you know, to be in the flow with things. Bring it back to sort of the other references and to talk about perfection in the sense of perfect doing, and in our embodiment of perfection. Walter Russell, and I'm reading Course in Miracles right now, they both of them have very strong references and usage of the word in this kind of way that speaks about the designer, you know, the organic instructions, sort of, or architecture underneath that is always available and that is there, you know. And aligning with that, to me, has been the biggest sort of breakthrough and breakdown about the term perfect and perfection, and how it's really brought in such a deeper quality of learning in my journey as a student here, you know, through life and through metaphysical things, through energy alchemy, which of course is the reason behind offering Deconstructing Distortions, making the series here, is really to have a place and space to talk over and sort of air out, to iron out all of these many different wrinkles and incorrect ripples that I hear out there in the collective, and that are from here and within as well. I think I will leave it there. It's almost 20 minutes, and that's, you know, pretty much a good time for me. I'm surprised I even said things this short, but perfect amount of time, I guess. Thanks so much for joining me here in this episode. I hope that you'll check out my channel later for more. Kind of sporadic in when I put these out, so I can't say exactly when I'll have another, but there's 7 others if you haven't seen them yet that have talked about some other terms. And like I mentioned, Comprehending Consciousness is on my old channel. There's links in the description for that. If you're interested in other things, you can check out my website, a.Marie.Speaks.com. And not only do I have areas dedicated to personal info and blogs, things that I've written on my own content, but I also have a tools tab, and that offers a bunch of third-party references, tips, links, videos, different books across bunch of different topics, all things introspection, spirituality, and happiness, to try to help other students on their journeys to learn and create more, you know, exploration and exposure points on your journey, you know, to gain more light and become more enlightened. So that stuff is always there for free, offered at a.Marie.Speaks.com. If you are on Telegram, I am too. You can find me under a.Marie Speaks over there. I share almost daily tips and tools, personal kind of things, positivity tips and stuff, sometimes videos or whatever I'm doing in the day. So if you're interested in keeping up with me in that way, you can find me over there. I guess thank you so much for your audience. Thank you for your beautiful contribution to our collective. We would not be the same without you. Thanks for witnessing mine, and I'll see you next time.